Yeah, I walked in and I saw all these Hunter Thompson things. I felt automatically like, okay, well, this guy can't be a complete disaster. And then I walked down the hall, and there's Hunter wearing a hat that I gave him.
Oh, that hat with the gun?
Yeah, the one where he's in a cockpit, it looks like.
Yeah.
That's
You
a
gave him
dog
that
hair hat.
Oh,
That's
wow.
dog hair.
It's made out of dog hair?
Yeah. And
Whoa.
he got such a kick out of it because when it rains on you or snows on you like it would in Woody Creek, you come in the house and you smell like a wet dog. And he loved like doing that to people. The people go like, what in the hell? And like, oh, my dog. You know, that's the dog right there.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is, are you filming this too? This is whatever you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, there he is. There's that dog head. It's got the head like big, like tie things. You could tie it under your chin. If it
What
was
year was this?
This is, wow, look at that one. Oof.
Lawyers, Guns, and Money?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Those are later ones. Yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
have scopes for a long time.
That was,
There's,
he had hearing protection then, too. He was learning.
86?
well,
No.
we're all learning
Really?
something about.
Maybe.
What, that one there?
Is it 86?
With the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah, it was earlier. Blind Blind Bat. Where's that? That's funny. It's it's a historic piece, I guess.
When did you meet him?
I met him, let me drink your magic coffee here. Whose coffee is
Laird
this?
Hamilton's.
Magic
Laird
Coffee.
Hamilton's Superfoods.
I met him, it was one of those years, maybe it was after my first real year on Saturday Night Live, maybe it was 1977, like the summer of 77. I was asked by Lorne Michaels, the producer of Saturday Night Live, if I had to go to, our season had ended, I'd gone to California. And he asked if I would drive his Volkswagen convertible, Bug, back cross country for him. I'm like, yeah, sure. Well, you know, a week or two later, it's like, where's my car? I'm like, you didn't give me a time limit, you know. So I visited people on the way. So I made some stops. I visited my friend John Thompson in Reno, biggest little city in the world, and we were, you know, threw our cups out the roof and stuff like that. Had a really nice time there. And then I wanted to go to Aspen. I'd never been to Aspen before. And so I went to Aspen and stayed at the Jerome Hotel. I can talk like this because this show is like endless, right?
Yeah.
So went to the Jerome Hotel, which was like the place to go back then. And it was off-season, which is the best time of year to go to any resort town. It's like when all the tourists are gone and the citizens regain control of their town for a while.
Yeah.
So the Jerome Hotel, which would have been full of like knucklehead skiers from anywhere, was only full of like the people that worked the town and lived in the town. And they took over the bar and they took over the swimming pool, which was outside. So I was there and it was just, I remember being there and they were like beautiful girls and this really funny guy. And I didn't know who he was. And we just had the most fun, you know, making girls laugh. That's kind of what, you know, may or may not have been the reason I was brought here. But, you know, that's, so we just had the most fun doing it. And then we had this sort of episode where, you know, we did an escape act and it had, you know, consequences. You may have. We started talking about an escape act, underwater escape act, and I felt like I could do it. And he, you really think you could escape underwater?
Oh, no.
And I said, yeah, I think I could do it. I think I could do it because so we agreed to, I agreed to be a subject. And you have to know, I did not know who this guy was. I just thought he was like a funny guy, you know. So, and we were like showing off for girls and stuff and being stupid. And it was fun. We were just having fun. So I was tied with socks to a lawn chair and lowered into the pool. But just before we went, I said, hey, just in case I want to take a breath while I'm untying my sock knots, move me over here to where it's like 6 feet, you know. So if I have to stand up, you know,
right, you're not
I can take a breath and go back down and continue
right.
my untying, you know. So I went in and, you know, I was untying and the guy could tie some knots, you know, even with socks. So after a little bit, I thought earlier, I was like, you know, maybe I'll just take a quick breath and go back down. Well, I stood up. Well, Try it, Joe. Lash yourself to a chair and try to stand up.
Yeah, it's hard.
Well, I'm I'm a little over 6 feet, but if you're tied to a chair, you don't get to fully extend your calves any more than that. So tied to a chair, I'm only like 5.
You couldn't get out of the water.
5'8" or something like that. And it was funny to see like that camera shot of like, there are people up there and I can't reach them or speak to them because I'm still underwater. So that's when I started to work more feverishly on the knots. And I kind of was going, hey, this is, I'm kind of leaning with my head, like push me down to 5 feet instead of 6 feet, so. But he was strong enough, and because I was buoyant in the water, he just picked up the chair out of the water. So I lived through it. But it was a funny way to meet someone. And the next day I found out that this was Hunter S. Thompson.
You never asked him his name?
No. He never asked me my name. I don't know that he knew who I was either, I think he thought I was just a funny guy, and we were kind of like holding court and being funny.
You played him.
I did play him.
Yeah, we were talking about it before. I loved it. Where the Buffalo Roam?
Yeah, the Buffalo Roam.
Was that weird to play your friend?
It was a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
I mean, it was any actor that has to play either a living person, especially a living person, or a famous person, has a real responsibility to that person. You can't just be that person for 90 minutes. You have to realize that person was that person for 60 some odd years or 70 or however many years a person was. You've got to try to get all that into your hour and a half or 2 hours. You've got to try to take in as much as you can so you're not lying. At least you're giving the best you can to say, this is who I think he was. This is who I think that person was. She was. He was.
Did you run any of it by him? Did you try to talk to him as him?
Well, he was living in the guest house.
So you were around him all the time?
Yeah. So I would go to work, and I would come home, and then we would stay up, and sort of just an hour or so before, maybe an hour and a half before, 2 hours before dawn, he'd have a NyQuil and scotch in the hot tub, and then go to sleep. And then I had to get about 90 minutes, and then the Teamster was knocking on the window saying, Bill! Billy! And then I'd have to go to work. So that's what it was like while we were shooting the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.